Ravi Venkatesan knows what it takes to do business in India. Under his watch at Microsoft, India became the software giant's second largest geography and one of its fastest growing markets globally.
If you look around the economies of the world, where else is there growth? It's fundamentally all the growth today is happening in emerging markets. And while it's quite depressing to see a 5% GDP growth, many countries would kill to have 5% growth. So even at 5%, there are substantial opportunities for many companies.
So here's what Ravi is talking about. India ranks number 93 on the Global Corruption Index compiled by Transparency International. But that means we're right in the middle of the pack, right there with China, Brazil, Indonesia, Nigeria. All of these countries find themselves grappling with the cancer of corruption. Now, if you look at the Ease of Doing Business report published by the World Bank, India is at number 132. But guess who's around us? The same countries, that China does better, coming in at number 90. Nigeria, Indonesia, Brazil, Philippines, a lot of the other emerging markets are in the same situation as us.
And India at least has the advantage of having a huge potential market. Some of these countries don't have either the market or the talent pool. So the thesis that I have is, hey, come to chaotic India, learn to be successful here, and then you'll find it pretty easy going in most other emerging markets. They'll be very familiar.
But this is easier said than done. Some MNCs like Unilever, Nestle, Cummins, McDonald's, JCB and Volvo seem to have hit the ground running. Others like Caterpillar, Renault and Toyota haven't had a smooth ride, while still others like Mercedes and Nokia have been dislodged from their leadership position and are now strategizing to make up lost ground. In most cases, the wall has been hit at a point that Venkatesan describes as the midway trap.
Most companies that come to India start out by simply bringing their global products, global prices and practices and management, and they start serving this premium segment at the top. So for instance, the best example is Apple. Apple CEO Tim Cook says, we like India, but the distribution system in India is too inefficient. There isn't modern retail. So for the moment, we're going to focus elsewhere. Guess what? Samsung says, here and now, and they run away with the smartphone market in India. So while you're saying, I'm going to go somewhere else and come back, some of your competitors are not waiting. So this midway trap is when growth slows down, companies give up on India, and they get caught in this 1% club. So India continues to remain 1% of their global business, and they squander the opportunity.
And since this rally in Ahmedabad a year ago, things have started to look up for Telenor. They broke even in some circles in Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat, and in the coming year they believe they'll have a similar breakthrough in the remaining markets as well. Also, surviving the rough and tumble of India has given Telenor several insights which it is exporting to other Asian markets. For instance, Uninor has implemented a unique distribution management system which tracks distribution, networks and consumer usage. And under this model, profitability is measured on the basis of the number of each tower's subscribers. Around $900 million, in fact, is the amount that Telenor hopes to save in 5 years by implementing new operating models.
The world is now realizing that's what we want also. Okay? So when GE makes a low-cost X-ray machine for India, people in the US say, hey, we also like that. So India is ahead in terms of being really demanding on the kind of price, performance or value for money equations.
The centre is rapidly shifting from the West, and consumption will be driven by the rapidly growing middle class in the developing countries. However, most companies' current business models don't address this effectively.
One of Microsoft's big challenges in India, particularly when I joined in 2004, was piracy. It turns out that India is a high piracy market. 75% don't pay for the software they use, and that's a big deal. And so, as usual, we began to talk to the government about enforcement and so on and so forth. And then a minister pointed out to me that copyright in India means the right to copy. So he says, listen, stop waiting for India to change. You change your business model. And that's what we set about doing. So we changed our pricing for the local market, made entry-level versions that were much cheaper, made local language versions of Windows and Office. We really increased distribution reach, came up with a free, almost free version for schools and very low price version for government. By doing all this, we moved the piracy rate down to about 63%. So if you don't expect the market to adapt to your business model, but recognize these are the realities and challenges of the country, how do I change my own approach, my business model? There's a pretty big prize at the end of the tunnel.
MNCs acknowledge it's not easy being here, but neither is staying away.